I.S.U.P.K.
It's a particular people. The whole book is about one people. You know why you hear about Egyptians? Because we was in the hands of Egyptians. You know why you hear about Romans in the Bible? Because we was in the hands of every nation that we came in contact with. That's why they're in the Bible. You don't get the Egyptians' history in the Bible. It's not their book. I remember when I was in the gym and a guy was trying to debate. It's talking about it ain't no proof that the Egyptians was the children of Israel was even in Egypt. Then if you check in the Egyptian history, it's called the city of Hebrews. So it's not their history in the book, it's our history. You don't get the history of the Greeks in here. The Greeks got their own book. You don't get the history of the Romans got their own book. They only speak that when we came into captivity in these other nations. Now, as I was telling y'all, because y'all got a habit in this church always saying, we supposed to love our neighbor. When they asked Christ for it, they started off with the law. What is the importance in the law? That's what the disciples was asking. And when they was asking them this, and they was making these statements, Christ then wasn't talking about all people because it was already established that they're not talking about all people. You know how we know they weren't talking about all people? Before you go to Leviticus 19, hold this and take me to Matthew 15:24. See, Christ ain't never changed. And this is what really blows my mind. Before you do that, go to Hebrews 13:8. And what we have to do is understand Christ didn't change. So when y'all come and say, well, Christ said this, and Christ said, Christ was only talking about the children of Israel. That's so right. When Christ died, he didn't go to Paul until Paul started going to everybody. That would make Christ a liar. Read what Christ said out his mouth.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 8. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever.
He's the what?
Same yesterday and today and forever.
Now give me Matthew 15:24. Christ said out his own mouth, he don't change.
Right.
He don't change. So that don't mean that when he died, he went to Paul and started telling Paul, go to everybody. That would make Christ a liar. He never said, go to everybody. That's Christianity. That's not in the Bible. Give me Matthew 15:24, and let's read what else Christ said out his mouth. Read.
Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Christ said what?
I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Well, Christ said he was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. My question to you, in Hebrews 13:8, he said he don't change. So if he don't change and he only came to the children of Israel, then maybe y'all don't understand Paul.
Right.
Peter told y'all that. Peter said y'all taking Paul's letters and using them for your own destruction. Y'all use Paul to eat pork. Y'all use Paul for homosexuality. Y'all use Paul for everything. And that's why Peter said y'all don't understand, because y'all using them scriptures for your own destruction. Now, we're going to show you who Christ was talking about when he said your neighbor. We're going to show you in Mark. When Mark was saying, love thy neighbor. We're going to show you who your neighbor is. And they told you this was in the law. In the law. See, when the disciples was asking Christ these questions, Christ summed it up with two. When you read the next verse, he said, all the commandments hang on these two. In order for you to love God, I read to you, you got to keep his commandments. You show him you love him with an action by keeping his commandments. The second one was love thy neighbor. Well, let's see who your neighbor is. We're going to start off in Leviticus, and we're going to break it all the way down. We're going to start at Leviticus, the first chapter, meaning Leviticus 19, and we're going to start at verse 1. We're going to work it down, so when y'all read these verses in the New Testament, you'll know they're quoting the Old Testament. If you don't know the Old Testament, stop trying to read the New Testament. In fact, stop picking up this Bible, period, if you ain't coming to the I.S.U.P.K, because you ain't going to understand what you're reading. The Bible's not set up where it's read page by page.
That's right.
Start off. Give me the 19 and 1. Read.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel.
So at this time, Moses is talking to who?
Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel.
The whole world.
Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel.
So when Moses about to give these laws that you will hear Christ quote, he's quoting the Leviticus law. And it was only for the children of Israel. Read.
Verse 2 continue, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy.
He starts off saying, you supposed to be holy, for I am holy. Holy means separate. He started off saying, man, you supposed to be separate, just like I'm separate from the rest of these. We're supposed to be separate. Separate. They started off in the Leviticus law, letting you know we're supposed to be separated from the other nations. Read.
Verse 3, Ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. I am the Lord your God.
What I'm reading is Leviticus 19. Leviticus 19, and I'm showing you that that Christ was quoting the Leviticus law. Just jump down, son. Let me see. We're gonna go down, go to turn on items. Go down to 17.
All right. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
Hold up. Go back to verse 1 so we'll know exactly who Moses is telling this to.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying...
And who spoke to Moses?
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying...
So this came from the Most High.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, verse 2, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel.
Now jump down to verse 17.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
Keep reading.
And not suffer sin upon him.
So Christ is actually quoting Leviticus law. So when y'all so quick to say you're supposed to love your neighbor, according to the Bible, your neighbor is your own people. Your neighbor ain't that oppressor. Your neighbor ain't the African man. Your neighbor ain't the Arab man. Your neighbor is your own people. That's according to the Bible.
Right.
So when y'all want to use that as an excuse to be weak, y'all can't use that when it comes to the I.S.U.P.K, because we know who your neighbor supposed to be.
Go down to where it said of thy people, real quick. 17. Of thy people.
Read 18.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against thy children of thy people.
Against all people.
Against the children of thy people.
Peck means the oppressor.
Against the children of thy people.
The Africans.
Against the children of thy people.
The Arabs.
Against the children of thy people.
It said against the children of thy people. Your neighbor in the Bible is your own people.